Hello, welcome to another Scryfall Shenanigans video. So in this video I'm going to be slicing through Zendikar, specifically looking at vampires. Now I will do a follow-up episode because in putting this episode together, not surprisingly, I realised that there were some very interesting mythics as well, outside of just vampires. So I'm going to do a separate episode further on down the line where I'm going to slice through Zendikar and just look at the mythics. But for this episode I wanted to take a look at vampires because there's an interesting collection of vampires in Zendikar. So what we'll do is we'll go through first of all by rarity, and then we'll look at some other cards that are related in some way to the vampire creature type, although they may not be creatures, so either they reference vampires in some way or they are a vampire, but for whatever reason they're not that type, and we'll see why in a moment. So we've got at common 3 cards, so Bloodseeker, Ghoul-Draz Vampire and Vampire Lacerator. So with Bloodseeker it's 1/1 for 2. 1 and a black. 1/1 for 2. So 1 and a black for a 1/1. Actually, let's just put this on a curve maybe, just so we can see that. Yeah. Okay. There we go. So yeah, our 2 1-drops, we've got Ghoul-Draz Vampire, which is a 1/1 for 1, and as long as an opponent has 10 or less life, it gets +2/+1 and has Intimidate, so it can't be blocked except by artifact creatures and or creatures that share a colour with it. A Vampire Lacerator is at common, so that's another 1-drop, but it's a 2/2 for 1. At the beginning of your upkeep you lose 1 life unless an opponent has 10 or less life. And as was already pointed out at the start here, we've got this 2-drop at common, which is Bloodseeker, which is a 1/1, and whenever a creature enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, you may have that player lose 1 life. So we've got 2 of those 2 cards here, which are caring about an opponent having 10 or less life, in addition to some other things going on, and then Bloodseeker, so whenever a creature enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, you can actually have that player lose 1 life. So we'll see how the rest of the vampire cards maybe fit in with that as well, and then I'll do a second pass while we go and look at some interesting tags that these fall into on Scryfall. So next up we've got the uncommons. So there's definitely some very interesting ones here. Again, let's just put this by, where is it? Mana value. So we've got Gatekeeper of Malakir, so it's a 2/2 for 2, double black, and it has Kicker for a single black. When Gatekeeper of Malakir enters the battlefield, if it's kicked, target player sacrifices a creature. Vampire Hexmage was in the set, so great way of dealing with planeswalkers. So 2 black for a 2/1 with first strike, and you can sack it to remove all counters from a target permanent. And then we have Vampire Nighthawk, so 1 and 2 black for a 2/3 with flying and death touch and lifelink as well. So with death touch, creatures dealt damage by this creature are destroyed. You can divide this creature's combat damage among any of the creatures blocking or blocked by it. And then lifelink, damage dealt by this creature also causes you to gain that much life. So 2 rares. We've got Bloodghast as another 2-drop. So you can see there's quite a number of double black vampires here. It's a 2/1 Vampire Spirit. It can't be blocked. Oh, sorry, it can't block. Wrong way around. So yeah, Bloodghast can't block. It has haste as long as an opponent has 10 or less life, so 10 coming in here again. And it also has landfall on it. So landfall was a thing generally in the set, but this is one of the cards, one of the vampire cards, which actually also have landfall on it. I don't think there's many actually that do, so we'll see in a moment. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may return Bloodghast from your graveyard to the battlefield. And then for 3 and 2 blacks, a bit higher up the curve, 5-drop, we've got a 4/4 here with flying. So it also has protection from white and this ability on Malakir Blood Witch, which is when it enters the battlefield, each opponent loses life equal to the number of vampires you control. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. So we're seeing this sort of life exchange going on. We're seeing things that contribute to, you know, stuff going down to 10 or less, or an opponent going down to 10 or less. And, you know, we've got lifelink as well, as we saw there. So we have one mythic creature vampire here, in this case a legendary creature. So it's 5 and 2 black for Kalitas, Blood Chief of Get. It's a 5/5. 3 black, tap, destroy target creature. If that creature is put into a graveyard this way, put a black vampire creature token onto the battlefield. Its power is equal to that creature's power and toughness. Sorry. Its power is equal to that creature's power, and its toughness is equal to that creature's toughness. So you'll notice, you know, the mechanism by which it's doing this. So you destroy a creature, but that creature has to be put into a graveyard in order to get that black vampire creature. Yeah, so this is important here. It's a good time to look at the rules text. So if the targeted creature is indestructible, regenerates, you won't get a vampire token. Similarly, if the targeted creature is destroyed but a replacement effect moves it to a different zone instead of its owner's graveyard, you won't get the vampire token. So any reason why, you know, whatever it is you've destroyed, the creature you've destroyed doesn't end up ends up in a different zone because of a replacement effect, and there can be various reasons why that could be the case, you don't get the token. Power and toughness of the token are based on the destroyed creature's last existence on the battlefield. The token doesn't have any of the destroyed creature's other characteristics. You get the token, not the player who controlled the creature. Now there is another mythic that's related to vampires, which is Sorin Markov, but because it's a planeswalker, it doesn't reference the vampire type. But you can see we have on the abilities here stuff that is, you know, synergizing with the other things we've seen. Maybe we'll have a look at some Sorin stuff as well, and Markov stuff generally, anything with Markov in the title. So yeah, legendary planeswalker Sorin. +2 Sorin Markov deals 2 damage to any target and you gain 2 life. -3 target opponent's life total becomes 10, and -7, which is the ultimate, you control target player during the player's next turn. We've got several interesting rules things going on here. Stuff to do with life totals and obviously targeting as well. And there's a whole section here on, you know, because you're controlling another player, how far that sort of extends. And what you can't do, so you can't make the affected player concede. Obviously you can't make any illegal decisions or choices. Notes about what resources you can use. And probably we'll find similar things if you were to look through on cards, you know, where you're taking opponents' turns or taking control of players' stuff, in this case particularly turns, then you're going to see a lot more things going on and certain stuff to do with, you know, two-headed giant. You know, what you can see, all those sort of things, just clarifying all of those. Now one card that isn't, or another card that isn't a vampire, but I wanted to bring this up, which is Mindless Null. So 2 and a black, 2/2. It can't block unless you control a vampire. So it does have a synergy with vampires, or has a condition relating to vampires, but it isn't a vampire. And that obviously makes some other things interesting as well, because there's going to be some cards in here again that won't necessarily reference the vampire type, but they care about vampires in some way. So we've got Blood Tribute, 4 and 2 black, with Kicker on it. Tap and untap vampire you control. So target opponent loses half his or her life, rounded up. So that's the bit without the kicker. With the kicker, so if it was kicked, you gain life equal to the life lost this way. And we've got Feast of Blood, so 1 and a black sorcery. But you can only cast it if you control 2 or more vampires. Destroy a target creature, you gain 4 life. And then we've got Blade of the Blood Chief, single mana of any colour. Whenever a creature is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on equipped creature. If the equipped creature is a vampire, put 2 +1/+1 counters on it instead, and you equip it for 1. And then finally, I thought I'd bring this up. This was reprinted in Innistrad, not surprisingly, which is Blazing Torch. And this one works against vampires and zombies, so equipped creature can't be blocked by vampires or zombies, so it's the flip side. But I thought it was an interesting card in here because it references vampires in this case is what we're interested in. It does the same with zombies as well, but the fact that it's the sort of antithesis of the cards we've looked at so far. Equipped creature has tap, sacrifice Blazing Torch. Blazing Torch deals 2 damage to target creature or player. So you can sack it for this effect, but importantly, the equipped creature can't be blocked by vampires or zombies, and it's another one where it's, you know, 1 to equip, 1 to cast. So one thing I did say I was going to do, let's just go back here before we look at the tags. I'm just curious as to all the other instances where Sorin has cropped up, or the namesake cards. So is there anywhere where Sorin hasn't been a planeswalker? Don't think so, no. You got Sorin's Vengeance. Let's just do his first printing. There we go. So I didn't see either Sorin or a namesake card until M12. So the core set around this time that would have been released just before this would have been M10. After the Zendikar block, so Zendikar World Wake, Rise of the Eldrazi, we would have had M11 after that. So a couple of namesake cards, some more planeswalkers, another Oh, there we go. Sorry, I was wrong. I misspoke. There's one legendary creature here. Okay. So yeah, when's that? Modern Horizons. So that was for Modern Horizons. Okay. So yeah. But all the others are either namesake cards or planeswalkers. So what did this? Okay, and the planeswalker on the other side. Fair enough. I wonder if... Oh yeah. So a few more namesake cards on the Markov bit. It's Baron Markov there. But again, prior to this, nothing. Okay. So let's have a look, see if we can see some interesting tags. So that just had Intimidate on it. Okay. Vampire Lacerator. Drawback. Yep. Opponent loses life. Okay, well, yep, that's clearly a thing. So nothing particularly spectacular so far. Okay, so bear with a set mechanic, removal creature sacrifice, and virtual vanilla. So yeah, 2/2 for 2 with one of the set mechanics. All the way back to Fallen Ascari. There's our gatekeeper. We've got things like Quasali Pride Mage, Sigil's Paladin. Oh yeah, these from Rise of the Eldrazi. The level up cards. A few of those. A Nest Invader. What have we got at the end here? Okay, more recent cards. So this is what the Bloomborough stuff. Vampire Hexmage. So the Martyr. Planeswalker removal. We'll have a look at that. See what falls into that category. Just looking to see if we've got any interesting rules. So counter removal. I mean, let's see how far that goes back. Probably quite a long way. But be interesting to see whether it just turns out there are any cards which, well, in a moment when we look at it, are able to do Planeswalker. Yeah, so we've got things like leeches. Target player loses all poison counters. Okay. Leeches deals 1 damage to that player for each poison counter removed that way. Interesting. Power Conduit. There's Vampire Hexmage there. You've got Hex Parasite. look at the other one. So Planeswalker removal. Wow. Okay. Oh yeah, because anything that says destroy target permanent. Yeah. So it would deal with the Planeswalker. So yeah, Chaos Orb. So anything that has ways of blowing up permanents would just do it. But it'd be interesting to see what there was around the time when Planeswalkers appeared, in terms of, you know, if you're in standard. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I see here. Because of course anything where you could target, or yeah, Planeswalker might get in the way of damage. Yeah, would take the damage instead. That would also remove it. It's true. It decided to block damage with a Planeswalker. So yeah, there's going to be lots of, because of that, actually thinking about it, yeah. Okay. So I'm just trying to think things specifically where you can target. Oh, you get the choice to target a Planeswalker rather than your opponent choosing to sort of step in front, choosing their Planeswalker to step in front of the damage. Should have probably done a better filter here. Okay. Maelstrom Pulse. Oh yeah, because you could bounce stuff, couldn't you? Could bounce the permanent. There's our Vampire Hexmage. Mold Shambler will deal with it as well. Destroy non-creature permanent. Admonition Angel. Although that's a mythic, isn't it, I think? Okay. Yeah, it was interesting to see different ways things can be dealt with, and the circumstances under which that could happen. Okay, Vampire Nighthawk. Commonly nicknamed Evasion, Life Gain, French Vanilla. Better than Satiable Harpy, which is 2 and 2 black with flying lifelink for a 2/2. What else have we got here? Referenced by Gifted Aetherborn. That one's got Flying Death, Touch and Lifelink. Anything else? Its current power is equal to 1 plus the number of card types among cards in your opponent's graveyard. Oh, there's a white version. Doesn't have Death Touch on it though, but has Vigilance. Okay. Moving on. Bloodghast. So yeah, a few rules here about relating to landfall. Yeah, reanimate self, which I'm sure we've looked at a few times before. That's why I've cleared out my cache maybe. Oh, yep, nether shadow. Necro-savant. Wow. What's this? 1, 2 black, 3, 3. I'm always curious about the cold snap legends because they're a little bit quirky. You may play Hang on strong gold scourge from your graveyard, but not from anywhere else. As long as Hakon is in play, you may play night cards from your graveyard, or an Hakon inflicted graveyard from play. You lose 2 life. Yeah, quirky it is. Arcos Narcomoeba. Yeah. Soul of the Meek. Puppeteer Click. Fate Stitcher. Got some elementals here. Oh yeah, Hellspark Elemental. Some horrors. There's Bloodghast. And of course Vengevine, which was in Rise of the Eldrazi. Things like Reassembling Skeleton fall into that category as well. Of reanimating self. Malakir Blood Witch, also a rare. So what do we got? Drain life, 8 white, opponent loses life. Evasion, non-creature tribal, tribal vampire, which will be a lot of things I imagine, and better than Bishop of the Bloodstained. What sort of things fall into this category then? Oh, there's Baron Singir. Oh, and of course Callistra Highborn as well. That was from World Wake. So yeah, this is where we looked at Minus Null as well. So it's referencing vampires. So these will be cards that reference vampires. Actually, let's didn't do that quite right, did I? That's better. So yeah, this Vampire Nocturnus. These are interesting because these were promos for Jewels of the Planeswalker as well, for the 2013 one, in addition to being a promo for, this must have been what, the pre-release maybe, for M10. Oh yeah, and you got World Wake had Anawan in it as well. And Urge to Feed. And in M11 we had Captivating Vampire. It's interesting to see, you know, what would have been in, say, standard vampire-wise, with vampire synergies around the time of Zendikar. Because we had Zendikar, then we would have had, after that, the next mirrored in. So scars are mirrored in, lock, and then Innistrad. So yeah, Innistrad would have come in, but Zendikar would have rotated out. But there would have been a period where both M10 and M11 were in standard for a short period of time. So yeah, this one, which is our mythic, death trigger, unique token. Yeah, because it's a, I suppose because it's a star token, star vampire token, scaling on power and toughness. I'll have a look at this. Removal, creature destroyed, death trigger. Effects that turn your opponent's strengths against them. So, I wonder what falls into that category. Oh, mana drain. Oh, so there's going to be some redirect stuff here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, several of those. Oh, the unpronounceables. Okay, so around this time, what do we got? Oh, it's Rune Flare Trap. Cerebral Eruption, Engulfs Slagworm, Phyrexian Ingester, we saw how much rules text there was on Sorin Markov. Let's see if we got anything interesting here. So yeah, it was a cycle of he's part of a cycle of M12 Planeswalkers. So after the fact, burn any drain creatures, set life total. I mean, yeah, that's a thing in Magic we've looked at before. Drain life 325 of those types of creatures, those types of cards. Specifically, I mean, it's on a Planeswalker here. Let's just have a look again historically. Yeah, there you go. Drain life. But I'm curious about this cycle here. So these have been reprinted, but as they appeared in M12, they look like this. So we've got Gideon, Jura, Jace Memory Adept, Sorin Markov, Chandra the Firebrand, and Garrick Primal Hunter. And we have Mindless Nulls. I don't know whether we're going to see anything interesting here or not. Restricted blocker, so yeah, worse than a Bog Raider, worse than a Dead Reveler, worse than an Emperor of Bones. So yeah, there's a number of these restricted blockers that have restrictions on them in some way. Oh yeah, Ironclaw Orcs. So yeah, there's a number of Orcs and Goblins with that on them. Got things like Gibbering Hyenas, Sunweb, which is a wall. Looks like there were a few in, what's this set? This is Portal. Oh wow, White Cat. Cannot attack or block if an enchantment is in play. Interesting. 4/3 for 4. Hollow Warrior. 4/4 for 4. I mean, even it's funny. It's like 2/2 for 3, and it has a downside or a restriction. Okay, Blood Tribute. What does this fall into? Drain life, yep. Life Divider, oh yeah. Tap to fuel creature, fraction. Okay, Life Divider. Need 27 of those. See what it turns up on. Personal Incarnation. Charizard Pox, Infernal Contract, Cruel Bargain, Doomsday, Lurking Evil, Murderous Betrayal, Goblin Game, Death Witch, Ebon Blade Reaper, Garza's Assassin, Temporal Extortion, Quite a Spike. There's our Blood Tribute, Havoc Festival, Raving Dead, Scythe Claw, Direfleet Ravager, Chainer's Torment, which was a saga, Virtus the Veiled, throwing Omnipotence, Skullstorm, Revival, Revenge, Peer into the Abyss, Scourge of the Skyclaves, and Rush of Dread, which is this interesting additional cost modal thingy. And spree on it. An additional cost modal thingy. I'm sure it's not tagged up as that. Fraction spells. How are they executed? Let's have a look. Aspect of Wolf. Target power and toughness are increased by half the number of forests you have in play. Oh, okay. Is in 4th edition. Oh, of course, yeah, Dark Sphere. Banshee. Infernal Contract. Oh god, there's a whole load of unones. There's Temporal Extortion and Endless Ranks of the Dead. So yeah, I mean, all of these are different. All reference, or there's different ways of referencing half of something and what that half of whatever it is on different cards here. So it's being used in several different ways. There's Blazing Torch. If a Blazing Torch controlled by one player somehow winds up equipping a creature a different player controls, the damage ability can't be activated by either player. Only the creature controller may activate the ability. But since the player can't sacrifice Blazing Torch, a permanent they don't control, the ability's cost can't be paid. Okay. The source of the damage is Blazing Torch, not the equipped creature. However, the equipped creature ability is what targets a permanent or player. If Blazing Torch is equipped to a red creature, for example, the ability couldn't target a creature with protection from red. It could target a creature with protection from artifacts. Okay, but all the damage would be prevented. Good to know. Oh, a few things on here. Bombard self. Burn player, hate set mechanic, hate tribal zombie, tribal coupling. I'll have a look at that actually. So I imagine that's where it's referencing, yeah, a couple of things. Yeah, sometimes see what stuff gets chained together in these, what and what printing. ING King Suleiman. Oh, Ifrits or Jinns, except for Evil Eyes. Orc or Goblin. Number of heroes you control. So yeah, different types of coupling here. Sometimes they're separate abilities, sometimes they're together. This one's insect, rats, spiders or squirrels. This one bounces slivers but has wizard cycling. Okay. Oh yeah, kinship. Something about sharing a creature type. And you've got things like champion as well that would might reference more than one. Skeletons and zombies. Demons and dragons. Oh, we've got some land that references it, or does coupling. Oh look, hamster, mouse, rat or squirrel. Sword of the Squeak. Anything here in the pile of Markov? Pile of Sorin. Slice of Sorin. And there's quite a few here that are specifically referencing vampires. So if you look at it like commonalities here, life total, life gain, life loss, shenanigans, the life exchange is going on. There's a few of these cards here that do that sort of thing. We've got vampire tokens, and that one's generating an emblem at a -2, interestingly enough. That one's generating tokens, yeah, damage and then life gain. So you can see here a few that are generating referencing vampires in one way or another, either tokens or like this sort of thing. Oh, there's What does that fall into? Oh yeah, this is one of these Planeswalker deck cherry tutors, wasn't it? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they were putting those tutors in those precons. I'd completely forgotten about that. Yeah, 36 of those. Okay. Yeah, that now also begs the question, when did they first appear? Kaladesh. Okay. Oh, let me just make sure that's in the right. I think that's in the right order. Yeah. And the namesake was M20. So M21. Okay. Yeah, some things, you know, you just completely forget about, and that was one of them. Yeah, I remember those when they came out. That's see, there was a cycle of them because of, you know, one being in each of the decks. Cool. If there's anything else here I wanted to talk about beyond tribal coupling, I don't think so. Yeah, and then the sign stuff. Anything unusual here? Probably not. You notice we got a few here that are two colour white black. That's interesting that that's a -2. It's not an ultimate emblem. Yeah, the emblems are cumulative. Maybe I'll quickly look at that then. Just as one final thing, so I know we've sort of stepped outside here of the set, but seeing as it came up, when did emblems come in? Oh, Elspeth. Oh yeah, it doesn't mention an emblem, but it had been errated. Yeah, okay. So they first decide to use it here. Scars of Mirrodin. There's a Dark Ascension one for Sorin. The one we looked at. There's a later Sorin with an emblem on it. There's some Obnixless ones here as well. I think, well, we'll know when we look at the in a later episode when I look at the mythics. But I'm trying to remember. I think Obnixless was in the set in Zendikar. It was a legendary creature, maybe. Oh, lots of emblems. Okay, there we have it. I hopefully enjoyed that. That was it certainly brought a smile to my face, and yeah, I don't know what it is about. There must have. I'm pretty sure there was a. Was there one of the intro decks for Zendikar? Was that? I can't remember if that was mono black or not. But yeah, I certainly remember. You know, a number of these cards. So thanks once again for watching. Bye for now. and I'll catch you in a future episode.